Today on People of Ag, we're honored to spotlight a leader in Iowa's innovation space, Billi Hunt, Executive Director of America's Cultivation Corridor. Since 2018, Billi has been in the helm of the corridor, working alongside investors and partners to expand opportunities in agricultural sustainability, innovation, and business development. With 3 decades of experience in agriculture and economic growth, she brings unmatched energy and vision to building Iowa's future. An Iowa State grad with a Master of Public Administration from Drake, Billi's career spans major roles with DuPont, Optimum Quality Grains, and the Greater Des Moines Chamber of Commerce. Her background in public policy and government affairs has uniquely positioned her to champion Iowa as a global hub for ag innovation. Today, we're catching up with Billi to talk about the upcoming Tech Hub Live in Des Moines, where she's helping lead the charge in connecting ag tech, talent, and investment across the heartland. Billi, welcome to People of Ag.
Thank you, Rachel. Glad to be here.
So, why is Greater Des Moines such a natural fit for hosting Tech Hub Live and the ag tech community year after year?
Well, I think it's a natural fit because ag stems from Iowa. When you look at Iowa, we are very lucky. I always say God blessed us with the best land, the best places, the best minds to develop innovation right here. So I always tell people if you take a center pivot from the central part of Iowa, and if you go 6 hours around Iowa, you're going to get most soil types in the North America landscape. You're going to get most weather types. We don't have hurricanes, but we do have derechos. And so if you're going to try and develop products for animals, for plants, this is the best place to do it. You're 6 hours from everything right here. If you take it 2 hours north or 2 hours south, you're not going to get that flexibility. So we believe just by our location, we're a great place, but we also have the leadership right here. From Des Moines, when you come to Tech Hub Live, 10 minutes and you could be on a farm field. You can't really do that in a lot of other cities that might want to host something like this, but you can do it right here.
What makes this region a magnet for innovation and business growth, especially in all the ag and food sectors?
So when you look at Iowa's leadership, we really do lead in 6 sectors of the industry: plant science, animal science, advanced manufacturing, precision ag. I would toss AI into that as well. Or I already said advanced manufacturing, bioprocessing, and food processing. A lot of times people don't look at us for food processing, but when we grow so much here, the first step in processing happens here. So when you look at the value chain, stuff that happens and stems right here. And when you break that down, you look at plant science, we're number one in corn, number one or two, depending on the year, in soybeans. So you look at that breadth and depth, we hold a pretty large market share. When you look at livestock, number one in pork, usually in the top 8 in beef cattle. Dairy, we're rising and will continue to rise with some of the investments coming in from the dairy industry and dairy production. You put then poultry, you put layers, you put turkeys, you put eggs in animal science. We're kind of hard to beat there as well. You look at renewable fuels and renewable energy, we're number one. Even when you look at renewable energy, if you're bringing manufacturing here, 80% of energy that goes into manufacturing facilities is green energy here in Iowa. Very few other states can say that. So when you keep piling things on top, we're just the right place to be. And that's just the way we've always innovated. From Henry Wallace 100 years ago when he started Pioneer to today, in agriculture, we do things first and it happens right here.
Billi,
I kind of like being a cheerleader for it. Can you tell?
I love being a cheerleader too. I love it. Billi, how does the Greater Des Moines Partnership support companies in the ag tech space looking to grow or relocate to our area?
So when you're giving my bio, back in 1997, I actually worked for the Greater Des Moines Chamber at the time. It's now the partnership. So back then they started the Food and Ag committee for the Greater Des Moines Chamber. They've always been involved in it because when you look at the industry in Des Moines, there are 3 strong industries, just like the state of Iowa. There is the advanced manufacturing, there is finance and insurance, and there's agriculture. Agriculture probably is 80% of the advanced manufacturing in the state and in the Greater Des Moines area. And it's also probably a good 50% of the finance and insurance. So it makes sense for the Greater Des Moines Partnership to be a part of this because it's interwoven with everything we do. And so while they are excited to be a part of helping host Tech Hub Live, they've always been a part of the food and ag industry because that's just who we are and that's who we are as a state. And I have to give them a thank you because they also are a major part of the America's Cultivation Corridor, and they were one of the founding members of the work that we do.
Well, as a more rural farmer in Southeast Iowa, it's always great to hear those relationships with larger cities because we always wonder what's going on or perceptions of people in the city compared to in the rural areas.
Well, and I think it comes down to we all need each other, right? We can't be what we are without the other side of it. So it's a balancing act. But at the end of the day, we know we all need each other to work. And when you look at the Greater Des Moines Partnership, they have 12 counties that they also have as affiliate members. Those counties include like Osceola, the city of Osceola, Winterset, Pella. And as soon as I start mentioning them, I'm going to miss one. So I probably shouldn't do that. But those are rural communities in Iowa, and they all feed right into the work we're doing. So it's important to realize that we all need to work together for a vibrant state and economy.
Billy, what's one thing visitors might not realize about the economic opportunity right here in Iowa?
I think what people will be surprised with is they think of us for number one for pork. They know we're number one for corn when they come in for Tech Hub Live. I think what people forget is we're number one in innovation too with all of this. So I think they may not realize how close our ecosystem works together. How, people in Des Moines are working with people at Iowa State all the time. When you see and you're driving around the Greater Des Moines area, you're going to see John Deere ISG. That's where all of their IT people work. And then, not a mile away from there, you're going to see Corteva, and that's where all their plant science people are. The ones that are doing everything to make new traits for corn and soybeans and all of the plants that they are working on. You're going to see then the banking institutions, right? Iowa Bankers Association is right in between all of that. It is so closely connected that it's really fun to come here. I had a startup once tell me that they love coming, or when investors come to Des Moines, because they can come visit with Corteva, they can come visit with the Meredith Corporation, come visit with John Deere and let them all take him out for fancy dinners. And being here in Des Moines, he can meet him at the airport at McDonald's and buy him a cheap coffee. So it's a really great place for inventors to be and entrepreneurs to be, because he can buy them the cheap stuff when they come in and visit the big dogs.
From your perspective, how have you seen the ag tech ecosystem evolve in Iowa over the past few years?
I would say we've seen a lot of change in the ecosystem over the last 10 years. You see people working together more. It used to be just one person and a startup working together. Now you see the whole system working together. I think that really started to escalate and move faster during COVID. People kind of check their egos at the door. We just have to work and get things done. So now you see a much more fluid system. You see Iowa State University working with something at the research park, and you immediately get an email saying, Billy, get us connected here, here, and here. Or you might have a fund, like a venture fund in Iowa. We're working with this company. How can we help? And the fun part about Iowa, we don't have 7 degrees or 6 degrees of separation. It's usually one phone call, and we can get people connected. The other part, I think we're Iowa nice, but we're also Iowa honest. And I think we're pretty honest with our ecosystem and also honest with our innovations. And we will pivot pretty quickly to help people find success more quickly. So we may not say, no, that's not a good idea. We may say, hey, try this instead. But we get people to success faster because we walk alongside them too.
Can you give people a quick preview of what they will experience at Tech Hub Live?
So Tech Hub Live is kind of fun. What I love about Tech Hub Live is that it's very laid back. It's fun. You get to see all these fun innovations that are happening, but you also get to have conversation with what I always say are the great ag retailers, the ones that get to sell those innovations to the customers. So it's fun to hear those conversations about what they're hearing farmers want and what the innovators are hearing or thinking the farmers want or the producers want. That connection happens. That's what I love hearing about and hearing from at Tech Hub Live. It's how all the ideas and innovations really come together and then how the rubber hits the road on that.
I'd agree because I've been in farming all my life, and going last year was my first time of ever attending. And knowing that the positions and the jobs and the different places for everyone throughout ag was just mind-blowing to me.
Okay, so Rachel, what was your favorite thing you saw last year there?
I thought it was really neat to talk to the people that are making the technology. They're doing more of the behind the scenes, the genetics, just so much. It was just a different crowd, I thought.
It is a different crowd, and I think that's what makes it fun.
Why do you think events like Tech Hub Live are important for economic development and regional visibility?
What I love about these events, and this is one of many that we get to host in Iowa, is that it really puts the spotlight on the leadership that we hold, but also the leadership that we do not take for granted and that we honor. Having these come here is something that we value, and we know that we do not take it for granted and that we respect that people come here, but we also want to showcase why it's important that it's here, and that is our leadership. And so bringing it here not only allows us to showcase all we bring, but it also allows us the opportunity to say thank you to our communities like Des Moines, and allows us the opportunity to have our guests reinvest in the communities that support us every day as well.
What excites you personally about the intersection of agriculture, innovation, and community here in Des Moines?
Oh, I mean, we are blessed because we get to cross that intersection every day. And the fun part about being in the Midwest is people do value that cross section of agriculture. We do understand where our food comes from. We do understand the innovation that is around it. And we do value the community. When there are tough times and stories being told about communities or the industry, we do know it's our job to tell the truth, to be honest, to know that innovation helps us solve and make the situation better. How we innovated and what we did in the 1970s when I was a kid in 1980s. I look at my conservation poster that I did in fourth grade that I got, the winner at our county conservation poster and what we thought conservation practices were 1980s, and looking at what we're doing today with buffer strips and how we're managing water is night and day different than what we did in the 90s. And if we continue to expedite those conservation practices, that's innovation. And that helps everyone. So I think the idea of that innovation is stagnant, say in sustainability, is wrong. New things are happening every day and are being implemented. And we know we can do better and we continue to do better. And I think that's the fun part about it. We just have to tell the story more.
That's right. I really want to see your poster. I want to see how much has changed.
I was looking for it the other day. I got out my 4-H record book too. I'm like, okay, there's got to be some picture of my poster. My Secretary Mike Negg and I both want to find our posters. Did you do a poster?
I didn't do a poster, no, but I
Yeah.
would love to know the difference. I didn't join 4-H until I was in high school. And
There you
so,
go.
but I did baking and photography and home ec items, but I never did a poster.
Yeah, so Secretary Negg and I did a poster, and we both want to find pictures of them because we were talking about how we drew birds, and you made them like shapes, like they were flying. So, yeah, you'll have to ask Secretary Negg about his art abilities.
There you go. Well, Billy, if a company leader is coming to Tech Hub Live and thinking about expanding or launching in the Midwest, what would you want them to take away?
I would say, come here, come to Iowa. We're ready to help you. At the Greater Des Moines Partnership, Iowa Economic Development Authority, the Iowa State University Research Park, and the corridor, we're here to help. We're all working together at Tech Hub Live to promote our partnerships and how we get things done. In addition, not only us, but the industry here is ready to help, and we're ready to get you connected. We can make it easy, and we can make sure your business can grow. Now, the whole Midwest can do it. I'm a little bit biased. I think we do it better than others. But whether it's here in Des Moines or it's anywhere in the state, we're ready to step up and help. And we believe we can help innovators innovate faster and better than any place else.
And just for fun, I'm sure you will have many favorite picks. What are some of your favorite hidden gems in the Greater Des Moines area that first timers should go check out while they're in town?
Okay, so I think the hidden gems, and you're going to think I'm taking the easy way out here, but we have a really incredible food scene. So no matter what type of food you're interested in, we have fabulous restaurants: Italian, Mexican, Vietnamese, Korean, even some off the wall type pizza places like Fong's, there are great opportunities here. So ask the concierge at the hotel for specific types of food you might be interested in. They can get you to them. I personally enjoy the East Village. There's lots of fun, like boutique type restaurants over here. That's actually where my office is at. So I hit them often. There's also a lot of fun breweries. So if you like to have some good craft beer, you can get plenty in Des Moines. So those would be my highlights. Of course, now you probably know I just love to eat and drink, but it's a good place to come and hang out. And very seldom are you going to hit a bad restaurant because they're all very good in downtown Des Moines.
Yeah, it's really hard to pick just one.
It
Absolutely.
is.
Especially when I come to town, and who doesn't love food and drinks?
And when you head out Wednesday, hopefully you stay for lunch, but if you don't, Lamy Bakery on 42nd Street in Des Moines has the best pastries. So if you want a good pastry and a cup of coffee, that's a good place to go. Be ready to stand in line, though. You do have to stand in line.
Billie, for those watching, tell everyone about what the American Cultivation Corridor and how you help professionals and businesses.
So, America's Cultivation Corridor was founded just over 10 years ago to elevate the innovation that happens in the food and ag industry here in Iowa and connect innovators to our industry, but also to reach our innovations to the world. So, I serve basically as a concierge to help connect, but also to be a storyteller and a marketer of the great innovations that come right here in what I call God's country, America's Cultivation Corridor. So come here, enjoy everything next week, and reach out to me. We'll be here, and we're happy to get you connected.
Well, thank you, Billie, and I'm super excited to run into you next week.
Yes,
At
Rachel's going to be look for Rachel next week because I'll be right by her.
Wonderful. Thanks,
Okay,
Billie.
thanks. Bye.